$5,500 in, $4,127 out. Where did $1,372 disappear to? Harry stared at that number like it had personally betrayed him. 11 months of sacrifice, 11 months of skipping lunch with coworkers, saying no to weekend trips, depositing $500 every single month into an index fund everyone said was safe. And now his money was vanishing? This is the moment 73% of first-time investors quit, right here, month 11. When the boring chapter is doing exactly what it's designed to do, test whether you're actually serious or just cosplaying as an investor. But what if I told you that this frustrating, soul-crushing phase, this feeling of pouring water into sand, is actually the most important part of building wealth, and that there's a timing framework that can help you survive it? Stay with me for the next 20 minutes because I'm going to show you the 8-4-3 rule that separates people who build wealth from people who just talk about it. And stick around to minute 14 because that's where I'll reveal the exact moment everything changes, what I call engine build day, and why missing it could cost you 6 figures. Let's dive in. But first, let me show you why your brain is wired to fail at this. Harry Rivera works the front desk at a mid-tier hotel in Phoenix, $42,000 a year. No trust fund, no inheritance, no side hustle that accidentally makes 6 figures. Just a regular person who read one too many articles about compound interest and thought, maybe I should try this investing thing. Month 1. Exciting. He's an investor now. He owns 4.2 shares of a total market index fund. He checks his app 17 times that first week. Month 3, still optimistic. Balances up to $1,580. The market's been kind. He starts calculating. If this keeps going up 2% per month, I'll have... Month 5, reality hits. The market drops 8% in 3 weeks. His balance goes from $2,710 to $2,493. He contributed $2,500 of his own money and somehow has less than what he put in. Month 8, he's numb. The balance says $4,001. He's contributed $4,000, $1 of growth, 8 months of sacrifice for $1. Month 11, the break room moment, $5,500 in, $4,127 out. Here's what Harry didn't understand and what financial influencers conveniently forget to mention when they're showing you their 6-figure portfolios. The first stage of compounding isn't growth, it's disbelief. Because here's the truth, when you're in the first few years of investing, you're not watching wealth grow, you're watching market volatility throw a tantrum. You're seeing the daily mood swings of millions of traders who panic sold because of a tweet or overbought because of a rumor. The scoreboard, your dollar balance, is lying to you, not because the numbers are wrong, but because you're reading the wrong scoreboard. So what's the right scoreboard? I'll show you in 60 seconds, but first you need to understand why 9 out of 10 people quit right here. Studies show that the average investor holds a position for less than 10 months. 10 months. They quit before the engine even warms up. Why? Because nobody warned them about the boring chapter. Think of wealth building like a novel. The first 8 chapters are slow. The protagonist is struggling, the plot seems stuck, there's no twist yet, no payoff, no reason to believe this story goes anywhere interesting. Most readers close the book at chapter 3, but the people who finish, they're the ones who understand that boring chapters aren't bad writing. They're the setup for the explosion that comes later. This simple trick completely rewired Harry's brain saw investing. And it'll work for you too. 3 weeks after the break room meltdown, Harry's coworker Miguel noticed something weird. Every single shift, Harry would clock in, pull out his hotel keycard, stare at it for exactly 3 seconds, then pull out his phone and tap something. "Bro, are you okay?" Miguel finally asked. "You've been doing that robot thing for like 2 weeks." Harry held up the keycard. On the back, written in black Sharpie, "Dollars swing, shares stack." "I'm not tracking dollars anymore," Harry said. "I'm tracking shares." Miguel looked confused. "What's the difference?" "Everything," Harry said. And he was right. See, here's the mental shift that changes the entire game. When you buy an index fund, let's say a total market fund or an S&P 500 fund, you're not buying dollars. You're buying tiny slivers of ownership in hundreds or thousands of companies. Apple, Microsoft, Walmart, Tesla, the entire US economy compressed into a playlist. Think of it like this. An index fund is a playlist, not a single song. The value of that playlist swings wildly based on whether the market woke up anxious or optimistic that morning. Some days, Apple is up 3% and Tesla is down 5%. Some days, everyone's selling because of inflation fears. Some days, everyone's buying because the Fed changed one word in a press release. But the playlist itself, the companies you own shares of, they are still there. When Harry was tracking his dollar balance, he was watching chaos. When he switched to tracking his share count, he was watching progress. He wrote his share count on a torn piece of notebook paper and taped it to his bathroom mirror. Every morning, 127 shares. Next month, 133 shares. Month after that, 140 shares. The market could drop 10%. Harry's share count still climbed. The market could surge 8%. Harry's share count still climbed. Because here's the secret nobody tells you. Dollars swing based on market emotion. Shares stack based on your consistency. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because Harry discovered something that would completely change his timeline, but I need to show you the mouth first. This is where the 8-4-3 rule comes in. And no, this isn't some get-rich-quick formula. It's not a guarantee. It's a timing lens, a way to understand what compounding actually looks like when you zoom out far enough to see the whole picture instead of just the chaotic daily swings.
The first 8 years will test everything you think you know about money. Here's why. The 8-4-3 rule breaks down like this. In a market that averages roughly 10% annual returns, which is close to the historical average for the S&P 500, your money has the potential to double approximately every 8 years for the first double, every 4 years for the second double, every 3 years for subsequent doubles. But here's what's crucial to understand. This isn't about the market doing something magical in year 8. It's about the ratio between your contributions and your returns shifting over time. Let me show you what I mean. Years 1 to 8, the engine built. Imagine you're pushing a car uphill with the parking brake on. That's years 1 through 8. Let's use Harry's real numbers. He invests $500 every single month. That's $6,000 per year. Year 1 ends. He's contributed $6,000. With a 10% average return, his account is worth about $6,600. He made $600. Cool. That's 1 month's rent splitting an apartment. Year 2 ends. He's contributed $12,000 total. His account is worth around $13,860. He made $1,860 over 2 years. This is where the doubt creeps in. 2 years of discipline and he's only up $1,860? That's $930 per year. He could have made more working 3 extra weekend shifts. Year 3. The market has a bad year, drops 12%. His contributions are up to $18,000, but his account is worth $17,200. He's down $800 despite doing everything right. This is the year most people quit, but watch what happens if Harry doesn't. Year 4. Market recovers. His balance jumps to $24,100. He's contributed $24,000. Finally, he's back to even. Year 5. $31,500 balance. $30,000 contributed. The market is finally pulling its weight. Year 6. $39,800. $36,000 contributed. Year 7. $49,200. $42,000 contributed. Year 8. $59,200. $48,000 contributed. Stop right there. Look at that gap. $11,000. That doesn't sound like much, does it? $11,000 over 8 years? But here's what just happened that Harry can't see yet. The engine is built. In years 1 through 8, Harry's contributions did about 81% of the work. The market did 19%. But that 19% is about to become a monster. Because in the next 4 years, everything flips. And I mean everything.
Year 9 is when it gets weird. Harry keeps contributing his $500 per month. But watch what the market does. Year 9 ends. His balance is $71,500. He's now contributed $54,000 total. That means the market has contributed $17,500. Wait, go back. the market added $6,500 in year 9 alone. That's more than Harry's entire annual contribution of $6,000. For the first time ever, the market is working harder than Harry. This is the handoff. Year 10, balance is $85,400. Contributed $60,000. Market's contribution $25,400. Year 11, balance is $100,800. Contributed $66,000. Market's contribution $34,800. Year 12, balance is $117,800. Contributed $72,000. Market's contribution $45,800. Do you see what just happened? In 4 years, the market added almost $30,000, while Harry added $24,000. The job has been handed off. But wait until you see years 13 through 15. This is where it stops making sense. Years 13 through 15, the snowball. Year 13, balance is $136,600. Contributed $78,000. Market's contribution $58,600. Year 14, balance is $157,400. Contributed $84,000. Market's contribution $73,400. Year 15, balance is $180,300. Contributed $90,000. Market's contribution $90,300. Read that again. Harry put in $90,000 over 15 years. The market also put in $90,300. He now has a silent business partner who matched him dollar for dollar, except Harry had to work for his dollars, and the market just showed up. And it doesn't stop there. Year 20, $336,000 total. Harry contributed $120,000. The market contributed $216,000. Year 25, $590,000 total. Harry contributed $150,000. The market contributed $440,000. Year 30, $1,004,000. Harry contributed $180,000. The market contributed $824,000. This is the delayed explosion. This is why the boring chapter matters. Because the people who quit in year 3, year 5, year 7, they never see this. They never get to the point where the market does 4 times the work they do. They spent their whole lives pushing the car. They never stayed long enough to feel it roll. But here's the real test. Because knowing the math is easy. Living it when life punches you in the face, that's different. Year 6, April, Tuesday morning. Harry's 2009 Honda Civic started making a sound like a mechanical cat dying. He drove it to the shop, praying it was something cheap. Transmission's gone, man. $979 to fix it, maybe $1,100 with labor. Harry felt his stomach drop. Emergency fund, $320. He'd been building it, but he'd had to use some for a root canal 3 months earlier. Investment account, $39,217. One button tap. That's all it would take. Sell 25 shares, pull out $1,100, pay the repair. Still have $38,000 left. The account wouldn't even notice. He sat in the parking lot of the mechanic shop for 40 minutes, thumb hovering over the screen.
6 years of this. 6 years of skipped lunches, 6 years of saying no to Vegas trips with friends, 6 years of wearing the same 3 shirts to save money. For what? To cash it out for a transmission? His phone rang. Miguel. Yo, you still at the shop? Yeah. You're selling shares? Silence. Harry, you selling? Harry picked up his hotel key card from the passenger seat, read the words on the back. Dollars swing, shares stack. No, he said. I'm picking up Saturday doubles for the next month. Bro, you have 40 grand in your account. I have 282 shares in my account, Harry corrected, and I'm not teaching my engine that present problems are worth trading for future solutions. That's how you stay broke forever. He worked 6 Saturday double shifts over the next 5 weeks. He took the bus to work while his car sat dead in his apartment parking lot. He paid the mechanic $979 in cash. And his share count? It kept climbing. Because Harry understood something most people never figure out, and it's the real secret to building wealth. This is the part they don't show you in the I Became a Millionaire by 30 YouTube videos. Wealth isn't built in the months where everything goes right. It's built in the months where everything goes wrong and you don't flinch.
The person who pulls $1,000 out to fix the car doesn't just lose $1,000, they lose the compounded value of that $1,000 over the next 9 years. At 10% annual returns, that $1,000 becomes $2,358 by year 15. It becomes $4,177 by year 25. But more importantly, they teach themselves a pattern. When life gets hard, the investment account is my backup credit card. And once you learn that pattern, you never build an engine. You just build a savings account you raid every 18 months. Harry didn't cash out because he understood the boring chapter isn't just about building wealth. It's about building a person who doesn't quit. And then, after 8 years of this, something incredible happened. Year 8 arrived on a Tuesday. Harry didn't throw a party, didn't post about it on social media, didn't tell his coworkers. He just woke up, checked his phone, and saw the number, $59,111. He'd contributed $48,000 over 8 years. The market had contributed $11,114. And for the first time in 8 years, Harry felt something he hadn't felt since month 1. Relief. Not because he was rich, he wasn't. Not because he could retire, he couldn't. But because the hardest part was over. He called it Engine Built Day, the day you realize your past self just handed you a gift. He pulled out his hotel key card, the same one he'd been carrying for 8 years, now worn and faded. He flipped it over. Below the original 3 words, he added a 4th. Dollars swing, shares stack, engines run. But here's what I need you to understand about Engine Built Day. Most people think the goal of investing is to get to a big number, 100,000, 500,000, a million. But those are outcomes, they're not goals. The goal is to build an engine that runs without you. In years 1 through 8, you're doing manual labor, you're the assembly line. But somewhere around year 8, if you've stayed consistent, the factory starts running on its own. You're still showing up, you're still contributing, but you're not doing all the work anymore. By year 12, you're doing 40% of the work. By year 15, you're doing 33%. By year 20, you're doing 20%. By year 30, you're doing 10%. And the entire time, your share count just keeps stacking. Harry still works at the hotel. He still makes $42,000 a year. But he's not the same person who stared at $4,127 in month 11 and almost quit. He's someone who survived the boring chapter. And that makes all the difference.
So here's what you need to do today if you want to build your own engine. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Stop asking compounding to entertain you in year 2. Stop refreshing your app like it's a slot machine. Stop comparing your $3,000 balance to someone's $60,000 inheritance. Stop reading headlines about crypto millionaires and thinking, maybe I should just... No. The market is loud. It's waves crashing, headlines screaming, influencers promising shortcuts. But the ocean underneath, that's calm, that's patient, that's the long-term view. And that's where wealth is actually built. Here's what you do. Step 1, pick your trigger. A hotel key card like Harry, a sticky note on your bathroom mirror, a thrift store toy engine on your desk, your phone wallpaper, something physical that reminds you, dollars swing, shares stack. Step 2, track the right scoreboard. Stop obsessing over your dollar balance. Start tracking your share count. Write it down, put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Watch that number climb even when the market drops. Step 3, define your engine-built day. Mark it on your calendar, 8 years from today. That's not retirement day, that's not financial freedom day. That's the day you finish the boring chapter. That's the day you become unbreakable. And here's the thing. Your engine might take 7 years, it might take 9. The market might average 12% in your first decade. It might average 7%. But the principle stays the same. Contributions build the engine. Time makes it run. Consistency is the fuel. 15 years from now, you won't remember the month your balance dipped 8%. You won't remember the headline that made you panic in year 3. You won't remember the influencer who told you stocks were dead. You'll only remember whether you quit or kept stacking. So don't quit. Stack.
build your engine, survive the boring chapter, and I'll see you at Engine Build Day.